Oh, hi. The wind's been blowing, and so I'm taking advantage of the stormy weather that we've had. And I love to make a wreath out of blown down branches every year. And I was going to write a script and polish things up. Oh my God, look at my hair. Yeah, I just wanted to take advantage of that. So I'm going to show you how I make a wreath at Christmas time. Oh, I walked down from up above and my arms are breaking because these branches, they don't look like much, but they weigh a ton. Okay, I'm going to set up my workspace outside, so I need just to go around the front and grab a table, and then I'll set up my workspace right here. So just hold on a second and I'll be right back. Well, that was quite heavy. I don't need to go to the gym today because I'm getting my arm workout right here in the garden. Okay, I don't always use a white tablecloth to cover my table, but I thought it might be easier to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to spread out this tablecloth. So I said earlier that these branches weigh a ton, and that means that they're really quite heavy. And when I was carrying the table, I could say the same thing. I could say, oh, this table weighs a ton. And it's kind of an exaggeration, but it means it's very heavy for me. So the first thing I'll do is I'll show you my tools. I'm using these gardening gloves because the pine branches are really sticky. They have something that's kind of like the texture of honey. We call it sap. It's very sticky and it's hard to get off your fingers. I'm also going to use these cutters. These are my really good ones, and I'm going to use those for cutting the branches. And I have this nice thin green wire that I'm going to use to wrap the branches, so you can see how thin the wire is. And I'm going to use this metal frame to attach my branches to. So those are my branches. And then I have this old pair of cutters that I'll use to cut the wire as I need it. So the first thing to do is to start cutting the branches into small bundles. So what I want to do is I want to have little tiny bundles like this. Oh, that one's got a pine cone on it. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, sorry, I'll show it to you. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh, I'm going to really be happy to have that in my wreath. So I'm going to cut into a bunch of small bundles like this, which I'm going to then attach together. So I'll continue doing that, and when I finish getting a bunch of small bundles together, I'll come back. So once I've got a bunch of these little branches together, I'm going to attach them together, and I'm going to use my wire, and I'm just going to wire them together so that I have a whole bunch of tiny little bundles of branches. So I just wire it like that, like that. The next step is then to snip the wire. So as you can see, I have just a little bundle of branches like this, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of those little bundles of branches, which eventually I'm going to add into my wreath like this all the way around. A bunch of little bundles. Wrap the wire around like this, like that. After I get a bunch of little bundles of branches together, I want to walk around my garden and see if I can find some other plants from my gardens, maybe ones that have red berries or dried blossoms on them or other branches, to make my wreath more interesting. This Skimmia japonica is definitely one of my seasonal favorites because of these super glossy and shiny red berries. They really remind me of Christmas and get me in the festive mood. In the backyard here, I'm going to take you past my vegetable garden. There's my winter veggie garden. There's a few beets, but that's about it. But this one back here is a seasonal favorite for Christmas, and it's called holly. And it's very prickly and has a beautiful yellow and green color. Oh, it's got a spider web in it. And so back here, this is a nandina, and this has some beautiful red berries as well. And red and green are the traditional colors of Christmas, so it's nice to have red and green in the wreath, so I'll definitely cut some of that as well. This might seem a little unconventional, but I might actually cut some of these hydrangea flowers. I think they're so pretty, a kind of pink color, and they definitely are something that I see in my garden at this time of year. Not very traditionally Christmassy, but I think they might look pretty in the wreath, so I might add a few of those as well. Oh my, look at all these beautiful extras that I'm going to add into my seasonal wreath. Okay, so I have a good pile, that means just the right amount, a good pile of branches. And now this is the tricky part. I always struggle with this a bit. Struggle means I have a hard time, I find it difficult. So I always struggle a bit to put the branches onto the hoop. So I'm gonna try and do that. Let's see how we go. Wish me luck. I hope it works out. Okay, here we go. So I have to attach these using this green wire. So the first one's always a little bit tricky. Tricky means difficult. Wind it around like this, like that. So I attach it in that way. And then I get another bundle, oopsie, get another bundle like this, and I put it on top to cover that one a little bit, and then I continue to weave the wire through there. And I wrap it around a couple of times. When you watch this on like the TV shows of how to make the perfect wreath, they make it look so easy, but it's actually not that easy. And slowly I start to build up my wreath. Okay, here we go. This is a smaller roll of wire, and I think it'll be easier to thread it in and out and make the wreath. So let's try that. Okay, so I have my smaller wire here. So how are we going? Oh, it's building up quite nicely actually. So I'll attach this one here. Yeah, that's way easier. Oh yeah. Wrap it around a couple of times. And the great thing about this green wire is that it doesn't show up. So I can use as much wire as I want, and it's kind of invisible. Invisible meaning you can't see it at all. Put it around like that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab another bundle like this, and I'm going to put it, oh, I don't want to cover up my pine cone, so I'm going to put it a little bit lower down, like that. Stick it through and wrap it around. So you can see the wreath is starting to form in this circle, and it'll look so pretty hanging on my door. So I'm going to continue adding the bundles around, and yeah, I'll just do that. Hi again. So I was working on my wreath yesterday, and it was late in the day and I was losing daylight. So I have to remember to look at the camera. Sorry about that. So it was about 3:34 in the afternoon. So it was getting dark, and I also realized that I was having some camera difficulties. And so anyway, let's pick up where we left off. That means to say, let's continue where we stopped yesterday. So as you can see, I have finished putting all of the bundles of branches around my frame, and you can see from the back it looks like this. It's all wired in, and from the front it looks like this, and you can see the beautiful pine cones. So now it's time for me to add the finishing touches. So finishing touches means the final details to make this wreath look really pretty. So the idea is that I take these extras and I tuck in. Tuck in means put in around the branches. I tuck in the extra things to make them look pretty. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to start with these ones with the red berries because I think that they look really, really pretty. And I'm just going to find a spot, and I'm just going to tuck it in like that. Maybe I'll put these two together. I like to have things in groups of 3, so I'm going to tuck those in down a little lower, like this. And then the final one I'll probably tuck in over here. So as you can see, I'm starting to get some nice color in my wreath. Probably tuck in here, like that, and this one over here. So there you can see it's starting to add a little bit of that holly color as well. And the final step is to add my hydrangea flowers. Here, it's good. Maybe this one, that, and this one down here. Okay, well I think that's pretty much done, and look how pretty that looks. It's a seasonal wreath that I made from all of the different cuttings from my garden, so I think it looks really nice. So now I'm going to take it over and I'm going to hang it on my door. So it's time to hang this lovely wreath on my front door, and I really feel like this is the kickoff to the season. Kickoff means the start. So we're kicking off the season with a homemade wreath from all the materials from my garden. So I'm feeling very blessed today. See you next time.